Most of us, we wake up, we go through the motions, day in, day out. We call this living. But how many of us ever really stop to ask the most fundamental question of all? Why? So let me ask you something. What if the most effective prison in the world isn't made of steel and stone? What if it's built from something much more ordinary? Our unquestioned routines. A prison that's totally invisible, but one you can feel every single day. All right, let's really dig into this idea of an unseen prison. What if the life that so many of us are living is actually just that, a prison without bars, a cage built from the very routines we believe are supposed to set us free? I mean, here's the deal. Society sells us a story, right? A neat little script. Wake up, work hard, get ahead, repeat. It sounds great on paper, but then there's the reality for so many people. And what is that? It's just an unquestioned routine, a loop. The script promises this amazing destination, but the reality? It's just running in place. Okay, so if this really is a kind of prison, the big question is, why doesn't anyone just leave? I mean, if there are no bars, why do we all stay inside? Well, it's because this prison has walls. You just can't see them. And these invisible walls are incredibly powerful forces designed to keep us right where we are. In fact, there are three main forces, three big, powerful walls that keep this whole system locked down. And they are shockingly good at keeping us from even thinking about escaping. The first wall, man, it's built way back in our childhood. Think about it. From the time we're little, we're rewarded for fitting in, for not making waves. You do what you're told, you're a good kid. But if you ask why one too many times, you're being difficult. So over time, we learn. We're trained, really. Questioning things starts to feel dangerous. And just going along with the program, that feels safe. It's like obedience gets mistaken for being a good person. And then there's the second wall, and this one is a big one, our addiction to being comfortable. Let's be honest, asking the real questions about your life, it's not comfortable. It's actually terrifying. And for most of us, comfort is way more appealing than a hard truth. We'd rather stay in a prison we know than step out into the scary, wide-open world of freedom. That comfort, it's a real addiction. And this leads right into the third wall, which might be the strongest one of all, the absolute fear of being alone. See, when you start to question your life, you're not just questioning yourself, you're questioning your family, your friends, your whole culture. And deep down in our bones, there is this primal fear of being kicked out of the tribe. So what do? We shut down our own doubts. We keep quiet just to make sure we still belong. So that brings us to how this whole system is maintained today. We're all so busy, right? We even brag about it like it's some kind of badge of honor. But what if all this busyness isn't really about being productive? What if it serves a completely different hidden purpose? Look at the cycle. You've got endless work, often just to make ends meet, to survive. That leaves you totally drained. And then, in those few moments you have to yourself, what happens? You're hit with a million distractions. Your phone, TV, social media, there's literally never a quiet moment. And you see, that's the whole point. A distracted mind, a mind that's always busy, always entertained, always just trying to keep its head above water. That mind never asks the dangerous questions, the questions that could tear the whole prison down. So, with a system this good at keeping us in line, is there any way out? Is there any hope? Yes, there is. But here's the twist. The key to freedom? It's not found when things are going great. It's usually found when everything falls apart. Think about it. We only really start questioning everything when the machine breaks down. You lose the job. The relationship implodes. You get some bad news from the doctor. It's only when the comfortable, predictable routine shatters that a little bit of space opens up. Enough space to ask a real question. And this is maybe the most important idea of all. We're taught to see discomfort as a problem, right? Something to fix, to get rid of as fast as possible.
But what if that's completely backwards? What if that discomfort, that pain, what if it's not a problem? What if it's an invitation, a signal that it's time to wake up and start living a life that's actually yours?
But here's the catch. Getting that invitation is one thing. Answering it, well, that takes guts. Every truly meaningful life, every story you've ever heard about someone changing everything, it always starts with the same thing: raw courage. The courage to just stop and look at your own life honestly.
Because in the end, it all comes down to being brave enough to ask yourself one simple but very dangerous question.